Well, hello and welcome to this special session, the Mind Shift, the live session around going from stress to strength in all areas, health, wealth, and beyond. Now, I am going to share two powerful perspectives and one transformative conversation from two exciting ladies with a lot of experience and expertise. We're going to have Dr. Dimitra Mersinia come and join us right now, actually. She's just coming in. And I'll start with Diana. Diana is already here. Diana Jacobson, accountant, money mind strategist, and founder of Shine at Business. As we explore in this session how shifting the mindset can unlock balance to better health, clarity, and financial growth in every area of business and life. And so it's really the detail that these ladies are going to share with us. And I'm just going to say hello, Dimitra. Now we are having this special additional session. Welcome that you could make it in here. Dimitra, we are on the recording, but I'm going to clarify. Is it urgent for you to be first up, or am I going to get Diana to get us started? How does it work best for you?
I do have, because I'm in the middle of the workshop,
Yes.
would it be okay if I go first?
Absolutely. That's why
Uh,
I'm asking. That's
yeah,
why I'm asking. Look,
that would be great.
let's get right into it, Demetra. And what I'll do is I'll put it on a speaker view so that we can have you really showcase and shine in the middle of this. I just want to recap very briefly on that our expo is the Inspired Gift Fair, and we are looking and talking about gifting. It's the season of gifting. It is about gifting others and gifting ourselves and the gifts that we as women in business have for others as well. So, Dr. Dimitra Mersinia with Mind Your Health so Business, you're on for this presentation at this point in time. And I think you have got the title, The Mind Shift, how small steps or shifts create big changes, and how to reset mindset for creating a legacy for health, wealth, and wellness. Let me change it over to speaker. There you go, Dimitra. It's all yours.
Thank you very much, Sigrid, and for all the participants. I really like those kind of sessions. Um, for the talk at this session, the mind shift and how small steps create big changes, I will be talking about how to reset your mindset. Now, did you know that we have about 60,000 to 70,000 thoughts per day? And about 90% of them are the same as yesterday's. So we feel most of the time like Groundhog Day, right? Especially some days than others. So if nothing changes in our thinking, nothing changes in our life. And yet, here's a paradox. Most people overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can achieve in a year, especially when they learn to shift the mindset. So let me ask you this. If your current mindset was designing your future, would you want to live in it, in the world that it's creating? And that's what this talk is about, the art and science of the mind shift, how small steps and micro shifts lead to macro results in every area of life, health, wealth, and wellness. So since we are towards the end of the year and we're preparing for the next year as well, it's about the time where we're starting to create goals. All right. So I don't particularly agree with resolutions, make New Year's resolutions, because changes and goals, can be made every day. So, and like Peter had mentioned in the morning's program, we usually wait for 1 minute past midnight, and like magic, things will change. So it doesn't really work like that. So, and it is fundamental to become a better version of ourselves. Have you ever made goals and then not been able to follow through, either because there is no consistency in the actions, or you start and then you do not finish them? You struggle to commit to things long term, and as a result, you don't see any outcomes or as quickly as you would like. Who here has experienced overwhelm, procrastination, stress, anxiety, self-sabotage, and the list is endless, right? At the end of the day, it is really our mindset and how we think about things. Either you control your mindset or it controls you. And life can get really frustrating as if things do not go your way. So most professionals that I meet, clinicians, business owners, executives, are not held back by lack of skill or opportunity. They're held back by the invisible ceiling of the mindsets and the problems that are familiar. Number one, mental fatigue, thinking in autopilot, reacting, not reflecting. Number two, overwhelm, perfectionism, waiting for ideal conditions to act. I don't mind saying that I'm a recovering perfectionist myself. Number three, disconnect between values and daily actions, leading to burnout and dissatisfaction. And the result? People keep chasing success without really experiencing it because we're always striving to achieve something. They build careers but lose connection to purpose, to health, to whatever matters the most. And this is not failure of discipline, it's just a neurobiological loop that can be rewired. So starting the journey of vision and setting goals, you may realize that you may find yourself in front of some major obstacles. There are four fundamental major blocks that you would need to deal with in order to create the results before you even start setting your goals. The first major block, and a lot of people struggle with this, is lack of clarity. And when we lack clarity, we have no idea where we're heading in life, what our life is meant to look like. And so our actions become unfocused. The second big issue is internal resistance. So things hold us back. For example, you might have something like fear holding you back from doing things, or guilt, or shame, or lack of confidence. Perhaps we convince ourselves that we are not good enough, or we're not smart enough, or we're not competent enough, or whatever this may be. And this resistance sometimes causes us not to even get started on some goals. The third big issue is self-sabotage. That is automatic habits that we do that cause us to fail without really having to think about it. So automatic habits like hitting the snooze button, like binge eating, like being inconsistent, not committing to things. And what this means is that we are failing without even being consciously aware of it. And the fourth big block is having zero accountability. So do not follow through. And therefore, we're completely unaware of the mistakes we're making, not getting the feedback on our blind spots, and therefore not progressing forward. So four big blocks: lack of clarity, internal resistance, self-sabotage, and no accountability. Now, in order to address and become aware of all of those, I think it's important to talk about our vision first. When we talk about mindset and mind shifts, in order to talk about the vision, though, we need to understand what it is. So it's like if you had a magic wand, like Diane's magic wand, right now, and you could, perfect, and you could create whatever life that you dream of, fundamentally the ultimate, most meaningful outcome. But when we are asked to write a vision, we usually write what we want, not what we need. And the secret to creating a vision is to create what is referred to as a values-driven vision. So your values sit in a hierarchy. So for example, if we talk about, I want to have some more healthy habits. If you look at your top 5 values, is health in them? Because, and this is important, because if health is not in your priority, you will not have enough fuel or commit consistently to the action steps to reach the goal that you're setting. And it's the same as money and wealth and wellness. So if money is not in your values, or your priorities, you will not follow through. Other things will take effect. So if you look at it in another way, each value, as you say it out loud, when you think about your top 5 values, what feeling does it make you feel? And does it resonate with you? And knowing your values, including your shadow values, that's what gives birth to your life purpose. So be really careful when that what you're writing down is not somebody else's vision or dream. So now I want you to imagine something for a second. You've got your values-driven vision. We've gone through that. Now you want to go somewhere. So you're going to get into your car and drive towards that vision. You get in the car, you start the car. But this is what you decide to do. As hard as you can, you place your feet on both the accelerator and the brake at exact the same time. So my question to you is, if you were to do that at exact the same time, would you go anywhere? No. Potentially, you may spin the wheels, right? The reality is that the car is not going to go anywhere. And a lot of people find themselves in a situation like this. You're just sitting there spinning your wheels. And what they do is they start looking around, trying to add things to the life to make the life better. But if you're spinning your wheels, you instead need to remove something. You need to remove the foot from the brake pedal. So you need to remove your resistance. And there are fundamentally 3 core types of resistance. First one is trapped emotions, basically emotions that hold us back. So fear, shame, guilt, self-doubt, not good enough. And we know that fear is an emotion that we trap inside the body. And from what we call significant emotional experiences or significant emotional events. There is a raft of emotions that act as a handbrake, as the resistance to taking action. The second type is limiting beliefs. And they are limiting beliefs because we believe them and they limit us in some way. They are resistance. And people believe things about themselves that they're simply not true. Not good enough, not lovable, I'm an imposter, not smart enough, and so on. And these are the stories we hold inside our heads. The third big thing is values conflict, where we cannot determine what is most important to us. We've got all these different options, but we cannot make a decision. And values conflict act like resistance in the form of indecision. It is found that the origin of over 90% of all depression, it was in a person's point in life where they could not make a decision. And this shows in every area of life, in the way of procrastination, lack of time management, clutter, which can be physical, mental, digital. You would appreciate that resistance cannot be removed rapidly in one session or by yourself, right? Because the resistance is like a door with 2 keyholes. There are 2 keys, and both keys have to be inserted and turned at the same time. If you only insert one key, the change won't last, and you end up like an energetic band-aid. So you end up, people end up with 3 weeks later, nothing has changed. But if nothing changes, right? So these 2 keys are basically the key of logic, which is your head, and the key of emotion, which is your heart. And this is where accountability, group coaching, having a buddy, having a coach, and so on have their place. So we've written a values-driven vision. We removed all our resistance. How successful and fulfilled would you be if you just did all the things you said you would? You said you would move more. You would eat more veggies. You would save more. You would get out of debt. You would plan your meals. But you just keep doing them. A lot of people aren't doing the things they say they are going to do. So what's the solution? After you do the above work, you need to create some heart-centered habits. And this simply means that you emotionally want to do the habit. Because at the end of the day, You need to enjoy the journey. You need to fall in love with the process, not just the outcome. So, for example, the elite athletes, tennis players, swimmers, why do they wake up so early every day and do so long hours training? Do they usually look at the clock when it's time to go home? No, they don't. They're really committed because they're doing this habit consistently from the heart. So every result that you want to create has one master habit that causes for the outcome to actualize in a very rapid sense. And then there are 3 or so supporting habits, the micro habits, small shifts. Then you can use the process called habit hacking. So it's basically, this is linked to neuroplasticity and wiring those pathways in the brain. But it only works when you become aware of sabotaging habits like scrolling social media, snooze button, and so on. So think about some sabotaging habits that you can think of that would not be serving you. So 3 shifts, small but powerful, that reset your focus and align your biology with your legacy. So when you're talking about your vision you're creating, you're doing values-driven vision so you can reach your destination. You've got to remove your resistance. You've got to move from the break. And when you're experiencing overwhelm, stress, anxiety, procrastination, constantly holding you back. So step 2 is to remove the resistance. Once you've done that without heart-centered habits, you'll fail because you'll be using automatic self-sabotaging habits to take you in the wrong direction, and you will be burning yourself out. So if you've gone through those steps, the next step, of course, is to have the support, the body, so they'll stick. So small habits, small shifts, support the above after working on them. So when you feel under pressure and you want to come back to presence, like when we were doing with the gift of time, and come from pressure to presence, the action steps is 3 by 3. 3 breaths, and 3, be aware of your 3 senses. What can I see right now? What can I hear? What can I feel? This tiny reset rewires the nervous system, increases the alpha brain waves, and improves your focus just under a minute. Then from comparison to self-confidence, we usually compare ourselves to others, don't we? We tend to do this a lot, especially in our business. The idea here is based on epigenetics, that your environment writes your biology more than your DNA does. And the environment isn't just physical, but it's emotional and digital and social. And health and wellness have different layers in the different areas of life. And studies in epigenetics show that diet, sleep, relationships, mindset can switch genes on and off within weeks. So you're literally curating your future with every thought, bite, and breath. So the actions to do: spring clean your environment. Your physical environment, decluttering your space, clearing space equals clear focus. Your emotional environment, setting boundaries for draining interactions. What drains your energy? It might be people, it might be small tasks, it could be habits. So do a little bit of an audit and become aware of what these are. Digital environment, unsubscribe, unfollow, unplug what is not serving you. What is noise in your inbox? So decide, does this input help you grow or glow? If it doesn't help you glow and spark yourself, it doesn't belong in your environment. You really have to be strict with this for your self-care. And finally, coming from hustle to harmony. The idea here is that legacy, your brand, isn't built through burnout. It's built through consistent rhythm. Small steps to make big changes. Movement, nutrition, rest are your trinity of energy. And your body's rhythms, they govern your attention, your mood, and your creativity. When you move regularly, you eat mindfully, you rest with intention. Your mitochondria which are your cell engines, increase output. Movement and nutrition aren't just health tools, they are leadership tools. So improve one small thing in your health, in your wealth, in your wellness routine, 1% every day. At the end of the year, you'll have 365% improvement. Walk after lunch, drink more water, block 1 hour of focus time. These are very small steps, but if they're done consistently, they compound into exponential change, which is the essence that is talked about in neuroplasticity and epigenetics. So navigate your stress by mastering rhythm, not resistance. So legacy isn't what you leave behind, it's what you live now that echoes forward. And your mindset determines your quality of your decisions, your energy, and even your relationships with money, with other people, with your team. Every small shift, every breath, every boundary, every belief sends ripples across your health, your business, your legacy, your brand, if you like. So you create the conditions for your best self to emerge, not by force, but by design. And this is how small steps create big change. So wrapping up, your mindset is your architect, your biology is your ally, and your small daily shifts are the blueprint for your legacy. And if you want to change your results, change your rituals. So I'm inviting you to spring clean your health, refine your environment, and reset your mindset.
Absolutely excellent. Thank you so much, Dimitra. That is scientifically grounded there, every step of it, but at the same time, you're allowing the additional emotional instinct and intuition components as well into it all. I love it when you use terminology like having both, having your feet both on the brake and the accelerator. I mean, that's really such a visual we can so take on board as is the one about spring cleaning. Thank you for sharing that with us at this point. Thanks, Dimitra.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.